Welcome to a pivotal moment in the world of broadcast as we proudly present the Men's Mental Health Show featuring the renowned Larry Mabry in collaboration with the Maassen Group. This essential exploration of men's mental health wouldn't be possible without the invaluable support of Rainier Avenue Radio World. Now, let's dive into this crucial conversation with Larry Mabry and the Maassen Group. Your mental well-being matters. Here's Larry Mabry.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, guys? We're rolling up on the year anniversary of the show. So I just want to kind of get a clap for, those individuals that's been here. Thank you. Appreciate that. And I wanted to say, for this particular show, I wanted to say I'm currently under construction. Thank you for your patience. And wanted to kind of elaborate on that. So for those people that kind of tapped in, I believe last week I talked about it, or the week before, I lost, I would say, a key person in my life, part of my Jedi Council. And this morning, I've heard about another person who was becoming a Jedi in my life as well, who recently passed away. And so for those individuals who do not know, and it's interesting because this building is actually right across from where we are here in Columbia City. Dr. James Carter, he had passed away. And for those individuals that know him in the community, a pillar in the community, a person who I was fortunate to get to know him for a brief moment, but it's just been an awesome experience. Prolific brother here. And although he was, I would say, only like 8 years older than me, his wisdom, I felt like he was kind of like a father figure. And so he will definitely be missed. But, as I was figuring out some things I wanted to talk about in the show today, a couple things kind of came to mind. And one thing came to mind is like, how do you handle grief? Like when you're in a situation, you lose a loved one. A couple things kind of come to mind, right? First of all, it's like surprise, like what the just happened, right? Like you start to ask yourself, wait, we just had a conversation yesterday or 10 minutes ago, or you try to catch on to those moments that were very pivotal to you. And fortunately, the beautiful thing with he and I is we always had a really cool, amicable, respectful relationship. And so I wanted to kind of bring this up because, when you lose somebody, the first thing that typically happens is, depending on your connection with that individual, it could be pretty emotional. And so I wanted to, bring some reverence to Dr. Carter today. Because he has done a lot of cool things in the community. And I'm sure, I know for me, I'll maintain the legacy. But when you're dealing with someone who passes away, the first thing you have to do is accept, right? And that's tough, right? You have to kind of accept the emotions. And there could be a barrage of things you're kind of going through, right? It could be frustration. It could be surprise. It could be grief, a lot of those things, right? When we talk about the 5 stages, we basically, the first thing we have is denial, right? Like, wait, no, that's not true. Like, and I was speaking to a colleague earlier because when I found out, and it was weird, really weird how I found out, because we kind of worked together with this particular project. And we received an email, and from that email, I was like, "Wait, huh?" Because I didn't understand the email. And then I kind of reached out regarding the email, and they're like, "Yeah, here's the situation." And so I was a little bit surprised, and I want to send my condolences and heartfelt support to the family. As well as all the individuals that he touched. And I'm honored that I had the opportunity to spend some quality time with him. And he was very, very beneficial for me when just before my stepdad passed away, but also just a cool dude, just a real cool dude, right? And so he'll definitely be missed. But I just wanted to kind of talk about, so when you have those losses, what's the first thing you need to do? Right. First thing is you have to accept your emotions, and it's not easy. Right. It could be a barrage of different emotions, and it may not be something that happens initially. Like it may take some time. I know for me, with my stepdad, when he passed away, it was like, what? And then we had the funeral and that type of thing, and then you see all the people that show a lot of reverence and respect, and then you step back and you're like, wow, he really like had a lot of positive things he did, right? But basically accept the emotions and acknowledge the grief, right? Because that individual came into your life for a reason, and so it's important to accept that situation and honor your feelings, right? And then after you have kind of worked through that, you want to make sure you have a support system. A lot of times when we have someone that we really care about and they leave us, we get caught up on the hype of that situation, right? Like if we go to the funeral or we're preparing or we kind of getting things situated, we kind of get caught up in that vibe, and it's kind of easy to kind of forget that individual. And so when that fanfare leaves, right after the funeral, after things have kind of subsided, and you're left with those weeks to kind of process, like, okay, how am I going to handle this and that? It's important to develop a support system, someone that you can talk to about your feelings, family members, friends, or coworkers, or religious leaders, right? You can reach out, to individuals like myself, life coaches, um, if you feel that would be beneficial. Also, too, participate in something to support that individual. So, for example, a lot of times, depending on where you are in the community, I know for me, when my stepdad passed away, we had a funeral, right? He came from a Baptist church. We grew up in a Baptist church. That's one opportunity to acknowledge that person. I know when my dog passed away many years ago, we had a urn for him, um, and some sort of, I would say, something to kind of acknowledge that person. My sister, which was, I thought this was pretty brilliant. She basically ended up getting fingerprints from my stepdad, um, and just kind of a different locket, just to kind of help us remember and acknowledge um, that particular person in our life. And whatever works for you, it could be a picture, it could be some sort of souvenir, some sort of acknowledgement to recognize that individual. And one thing that's really, really important too is, and I think people forget about this, is to take care of yourself. Really, really important. Grief can be physically exhausting, so it can make you to the point where you have to kind of reset yourself, and you want to make sure you're getting the proper rest. Make sure you go for your walks or exercise. Make sure you're eating well, because sometimes emotionally you could basically kind of be out of tune and kind of give your emotions to that situation, which, yes, I would say it's important to honor that, but it's also important to not stay there, right? Really, really important. And then share your thoughts, right? For me personally, having this show actually is helpful. I really, really appreciate those individuals that kind of chimed in, or people who texted, people who reached out and kind of give some support. So thank you for that. But it doesn't have to be on this type of medium. It could be a journal. Um, it could be you talking to somebody, obviously someone you trust. You can reach out to us here at the Maassen Group. We can support you as well. if you need to get some things off your chest. And then also too, you can get a journal and then kind of write down what you think is important at the moment. And something that I think is really powerful as well is you can write a letter. Write a letter to the loved one expressing to them how you felt. And to me, that's really important because there might be some emotion and some things that come out of there. And when you really get that out, it allows you to connect with that person, because even though they're not in this realm, they're actually in another realm, like a spiritual realm. And so that kind of gives you an opportunity to kind of connect with them there. But also too, if you have some old wounds or maybe some things that you weren't able to close out with them because they're no longer here, writing a letter allows you to officially say your goodbye, to apologize for maybe some things that you weren't able to take care of while they were here. It's also you taking some accountability for maybe some actions that you took. And unfortunately, because they're not here, they weren't here to receive it, but this allows you to still kind of get that off. So that way you don't feel guilty. It allows you to heal and also to make peace with that situation. That's important. But it can also be some ways to maybe talk about some good things too. It doesn't have to necessarily be negative. Um, you can maybe talk about with the letter, maybe a new commitment that you like to take on, or maybe something you learned from that individual, right? That's changed your life for the better. Another thing too is, sharing your memories. What are some things that kind of you remember from that individual? um, and as we talk about that, I want to kind of think about, I remember Dr. Carter and I, we, he was originally from Chicago area and I'm from Michigan. So we kind of connected on that level. And he suggested that I go to this particular spot for pizza. He invited me over. We got caught up. I forget the name of it. It's a Chicago pizza spot. And we kicked it, had a really good lunch. And then we ended up taking care of some business. And we went up to the school. And, Dr. Carter enjoyed music. And I like music too. And I remember, I was hearing some some old school, Personal Jesus, for those people that really know Depeche Mode. And I'm like, whoa, that's old school. What's up with that? You know what I'm saying? And so he pulled up and, he had this like burgundy truck, real big truck. And I'm just like, wow, that's kind of cool. And it just kind of brought me back to those old school times, right, back in the 90s. And so he got out, and I was like, so wait, Dr. Carter, that's you bumping Depeche Mode? What you know about Depeche Mode? And we just kind of chuckled. And he was like, yeah, I get caught up with the old school. And I was like, okay, that's what's up, which actually just kind of solidified our relationship as we walked into the high school to take care of some business. So to me, that was just a really good, a really good positive way to just kind of forge the relationship. But also just kind of get to know him just on that real level, right? And in another situation where, he and I were talking about some goals and some visions that he had based on some things last year. He said, I just kind of really want somebody to just kind of kind of have that expectation and bring it forth. And so I said, oh yeah, I feel what you're saying. And so I said, yeah, we could definitely do that. And we just kind of, gave some dap, embraced, and just really felt that brotherhood. And so I definitely want to say again, he's definitely going to be missed, but also wanted to share, a positive memory. And so for those individuals that knew of him, or if you want to chime in and maybe talk about a personal memory that you want to talk about, feel free to reach out. Or if you just want to share a memory, of a lost loved one that you feel is pertinent, that you want to share, that's fine as well. And then we'll do what we can to support you. Okay, so moving on. Make sure you gather with others, right? A lot of times when you have a loss, it's really important to make sure you have a reflective energy around you of people who understood and love that individual, but also care about you too. And so a lot of times when you're going through that particular emotion, it's important to, just have someone to kind of be there, because as you go through those emotions, sometimes you just might need a hug, right? um you might just need somebody to just look at you and just say, I feel you, I understand. um just being in somebody's space silently is very powerful, right? And so, um I think that's important, and I just wanted to kind of share that. And then also too, make sure you acknowledge the pain. Listen to your loved ones. Kind of ask questions. And also, like I shared earlier, make sure you share positive memories. um and so, another memory I want to kind of share too, that I thought this was important. Like I said, Dr. Carter actually had a building right across from where we are here, Rainier Avenue. And I remember he invited me, hey, meet me over here. So I said, okay, cool, and I go to the building, and I don't realize there was two doors. And so I walked into the wrong door first, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay, this definitely does not look like Dr. Carter. And so I asked, I said, hey, do you know Dr. Oh yeah, he's in the next building. And so I had to kind of go around the little steps and then go. So we go in there, and we get caught up, right? And then I meet, and I just see like all these brothers, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. And so we just kind of chop it up. But what was really cool was, um, I appreciated the care that Dr. Carter took, just to kind of get us together. Um, and I appreciated the vision, that Dr. Carter has as far as what he feels is important within the community. And there's a lot of people um, that say a lot of things, and I do appreciate the fact that, he represented a man of action. Um, and it's really interesting because, this is the first time I had met Dr. Carter at the time, and I didn't realize, because we had spoke on the phone, and I didn't realize that, he had two prosthetic legs. And this was very interesting to me because my my real father actually, he has he's an amputee. He was in the war, and one of his legs was amputated. And so, he and I started talking, and I'm like, bro, how are you getting around? Both legs. And he kind of chuckled, and he was talking to me. He was like, Larry, I'm the type of man where, if I want to get something done, I just get it done. And I'm like, wow. And he said, I had to learn how to do it at first. He said, but once I kind of got it, what I'm saying, I just, and it's, well, for me, it was like a, wow, okay, here it is, this brother, he's a tall brother, with two legs, missing, and he getting around like, whatever. And I'm just like, wow. And then I had the opportunity to meet his son, who plays professional ball overseas. And I was just captivated, with the passion, the energy, and the love, of just staying focused. And when you have a goal, you just handle it. Um, and and that really inspired me, right? And so I just want to say, I appreciate that opportunity. He'll be missed. And I'm hoping that we can carry out his legacy moving forward. Okay, so now I'm going to digress a little bit, and I just wanted to say, Columbia City Theater will be hosting the Haunted House. The last chance will be this Thursday, or Halloween, actually, from noon to 6:30 p.m. So make sure you guys come check it out. It should be a pretty cool event. And then also too, the Fentanyl Awareness Town Hall will be this Saturday, at 11 o'clock live on Rainier Avenue Radio. So make sure you guys take a look at that. That should be cool. And then one more thing too is the election results will be live November 5th at 6 p.m., which will be next Tuesday. So make sure you guys take a look at that. And then, oh, one more thing. So for those individuals that know, my I would say the next guest or the next show is called Better Together and Living Powerfully. Um, Dr. Tracy Harrell and I have a pretty cool relationship, and I kind of reached out to her. Um, and so I want to make sure, you guys show some love to her. She'll be having a show from 6 to 7 o'clock today. And it's kind of special because we all kind of had a connection with Dr. Carter. And so, unfortunately, I won't be able to connect with her today, but I want you to make sure you guys show some love to her from 6 to 7. And as we kind of get to a close here shortly, I want to ask you guys a couple questions, right, for yourself. Is what are you guys doing now in your life that you feel will be remembered, right? Um, and so just want to kind of share that. But anyway, make sure you guys take a look at her. She'll be on next from 6 to 7. She may have some pretty cool, interesting things to share about Dr. Carter as well. And so just want to kind of put that out there. So anyway, what are you guys doing now in lieu of, if you have a loss in your family, what are you doing, or a friend? Um, were those things helpful? Do you feel that kind of what I shared could be very beneficial to you to kind of help you through your situation, right? One thing that I think is also important too is, ask yourself, what are the lessons that you learned from that individual being in your life, right? Um, and I've been thinking about that lately and being mindful of my actions to make sure that I'm honoring, the things that I said I would do. Does that mean you're perfect? Of course not, right? But that also means that maybe you need to apologize when you fall short, right? So for those individuals, hey, I'll put it right here, right now. So I apologize for the things that I may have said or did that offended you. And also too, I want to share this. Like, what are you about, right? Are you actually out here trying to spread love, right? Are you out here trying to spread fear, right? I'm not judging any of those things, but the question is, what would you like to spread out here, right? And so for me, I appreciate individuals like Dr. Carter, who, from my lens that I've noticed, um, with him being executive director of the Breakfast Group, which is the organization that's like a mentor program, Project Mister, hugely successful in a lot of schools, as well as he's part of different boards and organizations, and has been a huge pillar in the community. I guess my question would be, what are you contributing in the world to make sure that you are leaving a legacy? But also, too, one other caveat I want to give too, right, is sometimes, I would say as African American men or just men in general, it's important to sometimes say no. um, when I also reflect, I realize that my stepdad as well as Dr. Carter were very, very busy people. They're very loving men. And I feel like sometimes when you're a pillar in the community, people come to you. It's hard for you to say no. And I feel as though they showed and exemplified unconditional love, but also too, as I reflect, I feel like it's important to kind of step back, kind of say to yourself, you know what? I need to make sure I take care of myself, right? And sometimes when you're burning a lot of candles at different ends, you don't really have enough wick left for yourself. um, and so for me, this kind of gives me an opportunity to kind of self-reflect on, what are some things that I can do for myself to make sure that I'm honoring myself, right? Because if you expend yourself too much, you won't really have enough energy to give to yourself. And so basically, make sure you give balance. It's important to give balance to yourself. And so as I'm sharing this with you guys, for those individuals listening, think about doing a mental, emotional assessment for yourself and say, hey, what are some areas of my life that I may be giving a little bit too much, and I might need to reassess those particular areas to make sure I take care of myself. And it's really really weird that we're having this conversation because the past couple of weeks, I've been doing more walks for myself, been eating a little bit healthier, and just like certain individuals, I'm just very mindful of who I'm spending my time with. right? And so as you guys move forth in your life, and as we kind of culminate this year with me communicating to you guys, um, I would say, be mindful of yourself. Make sure you take care of yourself emotionally. Your social emotional health is really, really important. Um, connect with somebody that can help you maintain your inner peace, your inner calm, whatever it looks like for you. If you're around individuals that's causing a lot of stress, minimize that interaction. But then ask yourself, what are you doing to take care of your peace? What are you doing to support yourself, right? And so as you guys move forward, I want you guys to be mindful of that. Okay, cool. Also, too, um, real quick, for those individuals who are interested, feel free to reach out and kind of share. What did you think about today? Did you think it was beneficial? Were you aware of Dr. Carter? Some people may not have known of him. Um, my apologies if I surprised people, but I just wanted to kind of make sure people were aware. When I reached out, I did communicate via text to some individuals. For those individuals that came on late, Dr. Carter, Dr. James Carter, recently passed away, and I wanted to submit my condolences for the families as well as the people he touched. And we wish him or his legacy to continue going on. And feel free if you guys want to reach out and just kind of show your love for him. That'd be greatly appreciated. But okay, one more thing too before we wrap it up again. Make sure you guys show some love to Dr. Tracy Harrell. She'll be on in the next 30 seconds or so. Better Together, Living Powerfully, from 6 to 7. Show her some love. And without further ado, guys, I'm gonna see you guys next Monday, and you guys have a good one. Peace.